What if the most dangerous enemy was not standing across from you today? What if danger smiled, shook your hand, and called itself friendship instead? What if betrayal waited inside the very place you trusted most completely? Ancient Rome stood at the height of power, wealth, and influence globally. Yet beneath the marble grandeur, fear quietly shaped political decisions daily. Powerful men worried constantly about who might control Rome next. In politics, ambition often grows faster than trust can survive. Alliances formed, shifted, and collapsed with remarkable speed unexpectedly. The Senate concealed secrets capable of changing history forever completely. At the center stood Julius Caesar, Rome's most celebrated leader alive. Victorious in war, admired by citizens, feared by political rivals alike. His influence extended farther than almost anyone in Roman history. Caesar appeared unstoppable, a man favored by destiny itself, seemingly. Crowds cheered his name while enemies watched silently from shadows. Success created admiration, but it also created dangerous resentment nearby. Every triumph increased concerns among those protecting Rome's republican traditions. They feared one question above all others more than anything. Was Caesar serving Rome, or was Rome becoming Caesar's possession gradually? The answer divided friends, allies, and political factions across society. Suspicions spread quietly while conspiracies began forming behind closed doors. Some believed drastic action would soon become absolutely necessary, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Caesar prepared for another ordinary meeting at the Senate. He did not know history was approaching with knives already drawn. The Ides of March had arrived at last, ominously and silently. Long before betrayal, Caesar was simply another ambitious Roman politician rising. He possessed intelligence, charisma, and determination difficult ignoring by anyone. Ambition drove him relentlessly toward opportunities others feared pursuing entirely. Caesar understood something essential about power and public perception clearly. Winning support often mattered as much as winning battles themselves. He mastered both with extraordinary effectiveness throughout his career remarkably. Political rivals noticed his growing influence and growing popularity quickly. Each achievement expanded his reputation far beyond ordinary expectations previously. Many admired him, but admiration often attracts envy simultaneously too. Then came Gaul, where Caesar achieved victories changing everything permanently. Roman legions conquered vast territories under his leadership successfully there. Military triumph transformed Caesar into a living legend across Rome. Victorious soldiers adored him for sharing hardships and rewards alike. His campaigns generated wealth, prestige, and unmatched public recognition nationally. Success elevated Caesar above many traditional political competitors rapidly. Citizens celebrated him as a hero who expanded Roman greatness. Crowds filled streets whenever his achievements became public knowledge widely. Popularity gave Caesar a powerful advantage few opponents could challenge. Yet within the Senate, admiration mixed dangerously with apprehension increasingly. Some senators wondered whether one man should possess such influence. The Republic depended upon balancing power among many leaders carefully. Caesar's rise seemed threatening that balance more each passing year. Concern gradually transformed into fear among Rome's political establishment quietly. And fear would soon shape decisions with historic consequences forever. Eventually, Caesar faced a choice capable of changing Rome forever completely. Roman law demanded he surrender military command before returning peacefully. Obedience meant vulnerability, while resistance risked civil war immediately nationwide. The decisive moment arrived beside a modest river called Rubicon. On one side stood safety, on the other uncertainty and conflict. Caesar chose action rather than accepting limits imposed by rivals. He crossed the Rubicon with his army, defying expectations dramatically. That single decision shattered political stability across the Republic instantly. There would be no easy compromise after that point anymore. News spread rapidly through Rome, triggering alarm among senators immediately. Many interpreted the move as a direct threat against Republican government. Fear intensified because Caesar possessed loyal legions and battlefield experience. Civil war erupted, forcing Romans to choose sides reluctantly everywhere. Friends, families, and political allies found themselves divided bitterly. The conflict became a struggle over Rome's future identity itself. Caesar's military brilliance repeatedly delivered victories against determined opponents consistently. One by one, resistance weakened beneath relentless pressure from campaigns. Opponents discovered defeating Caesar required more than courage alone. Every victory increased his authority and reduced effective opposition further. The Republic's traditional safeguards appeared increasingly powerless against momentum. Caesar emerged as the dominant figure within Roman politics unquestionably. Crowds welcomed him as a savior restoring order after chaos. Yet others viewed the same events through a darker perspective. They feared Rome was approaching a point of no return. After victory, Caesar possessed influence greater than any Roman politician before. His authority extended across military, political, and public spheres simultaneously. Few individuals had ever accumulated such power within Rome previously. The Senate rewarded Caesar with honors acknowledging his achievements formally. Titles, privileges, and ceremonial distinctions elevated his status dramatically. Each recognition reinforced perceptions that Caesar stood above ordinary leaders. Citizens largely welcomed stability after years of destructive civil conflict. Many believed Caesar alone could guide Rome toward prosperity successfully. Public admiration continued growing despite concerns among political elites increasingly. Then came a title impossible ignoring within Roman political culture. Caesar became Dictator Perpetuo, dictator for life officially recognized. For supporters, the title represented order and effective leadership permanently. For critics, it represented something far more alarming and dangerous. Rome had rejected kings centuries earlier for important reasons historically. Concentrating power in one person revived ancient fears immediately again. Some senators genuinely believed Republican government was slowly dying already. Institutions seemed weaker while Caesar's personal authority grew stronger continuously. The balance protecting Rome's political system appeared increasingly fragile now. Discussions once private became urgent among those fearing dictatorship permanently. Concern evolved into determination as tensions intensified throughout political circles. Several senators concluded words alone could not solve the crisis. Secret conversations began shaping plans with extraordinary consequences eventually ahead. A conspiracy emerged from fear, conviction, and political desperation combined. And one crucial name would soon determine everything that followed. Every conspiracy requires participants, but this one required something more crucial. It needed legitimacy, credibility, and a respected face supporting action. That face would become Marcus Junius Brutus, Caesar's trusted ally. Brutus occupied a unique position within Rome's political landscape deeply. He possessed honor, reputation, and connections across opposing factions alike. Most importantly, Caesar trusted him in ways others never enjoyed. Conspirators understood their plan required Brutus joining their cause eventually. Without him, assassination might appear motivated purely by personal ambition. With him, it could appear a defense of Republican principles. Yet convincing Brutus proved far more complicated than recruiting others. He respected Caesar and benefited from their relationship significantly throughout years. Loyalty pulled strongly against any thought of betrayal whatsoever deeply. At the same time, Brutus loved the Roman Republic passionately. He feared concentrated power might eventually destroy cherished institutions permanently. The dilemma offered no painless solution regardless of perspective chosen. Night after night, Brutus wrestled with conflicting responsibilities internally alone. Friendship demanded loyalty, while conviction demanded resistance against perceived threats. Each argument seemed persuasive depending upon which values mattered most. Some choices hurt because every available option sacrifices something valuable. Brutus faced exactly that kind of devastating moral crossroads personally. Eventually, he reached a conclusion that would echo through centuries. He chose Rome as he understood it above personal relationships. The decision transformed concern into commitment and commitment into action. Now, the conspiracy possessed everything necessary to move forward decisively. As plans advanced, strange warnings began surrounding Caesar unexpectedly from multiple sources. Ancient Romans paid serious attention to omens, prophecies, and signs frequently. One warning would become legendary across centuries of retelling afterward. A soothsayer reportedly urged Caesar to beware the Ides of March. The message sounded simple, yet carried unsettling implications beneath surface. Whether coincidence or intuition, the warning proved difficult ignoring. Then came another source of concern much closer to home. Caesar's wife Calpurnia experienced disturbing dreams before the Senate meeting. She believed those visions foretold danger and pleaded urgently afterward. Calpurnia begged Caesar to remain home and avoid unnecessary risks completely. Her fear seemed genuine, emotional, and impossible, dismissing lightly entirely. For a moment, Caesar reportedly considered changing his plans temporarily. Meanwhile, conspirators struggled, controlling anxiety as the critical day approached. Every participant understood failure would likely result in severe punishment. There could be no turning back once events began unfolding. Caesar ultimately decided appearing fearful would damage his authority publicly. Powerful leaders often feel pressure projecting confidence regardless of circumstances. Pride, courage, and habit may have influenced his decision significantly. He left home and headed toward the Senate as planned. Each step brought him closer to a moment changing history forever. The conspirators waited, hiding intentions behind calm expressions carefully maintained. Inside the Senate chamber, tension became almost unbearable among participants. Destiny seemed suspended between warning and action for one final moment. Then Julius Caesar entered the room where everything would change. Caesar entered confidently, expecting debate rather than violence that morning entirely. Around him stood men who had shared conversations, alliances, and ambitions. Outwardly, everything appeared normal, calm, and politically routine as usual. Then several senators approached, requesting attention for an important petition suddenly. The movement seemed harmless, even ordinary within Senate procedures traditionally followed. Yet beneath composed expressions waited intentions darker than anyone admitted publicly. One conspirator acted first, drawing a concealed dagger unexpectedly and swiftly. Confusion erupted instantly as realization spread through the crowded chamber rapidly. What began with one blade soon became a coordinated attack altogether. Multiple senators joined, striking Caesar from different directions relentlessly and repeatedly. Violence replaced debate while panic consumed the atmosphere completely around everyone. Rome's most powerful man suddenly fought desperately for survival himself. Then Caesar saw a face more painful than any weapon present. Among attackers stood Brutus, trusted ally and respected companion for years. Betrayal struck deeper than steel because trust magnifies every wound dramatically. Tradition remembers words expressing disbelief at Brutus joining the conspiracy. Whether exact or symbolic, their meaning remains emotionally devastating today. Caesar stopped resisting as hope vanished beneath overwhelming betrayal completely. The attack ended, leaving silence where power once commanded attention effortlessly. Rome's greatest leader lay dead on the Senate floor motionless. Conspirators believed they had saved the Republic through necessary sacrifice. For a brief moment, victory appeared within reach for them. They expected gratitude, stability, and restoration of traditional government afterward. Instead, they had unleashed consequences beyond their imagination entirely. The conspirators expected celebration after eliminating what they considered a threat. They believed Romans would welcome restoration of republican government enthusiastically. Instead, confusion and uncertainty spread throughout the city immediately everywhere. Ordinary citizens did not view Caesar the same way senators did. Many remembered victories, reforms, and benefits associated with his leadership. To them, Caesar was not simply a politician seeking power. He was a hero whose achievements shaped Rome's destiny profoundly. News of his murder ignited emotions far stronger than expected. Sympathy for Caesar began overshadowing support for the conspirators rapidly. Then Mark Antony seized an opportunity, changing everything politically forever. Antony understood public emotion could become a weapon more powerful. His words transformed grief into outrage before thousands listening carefully. The funeral became more than remembrance, it became political combustion itself. Citizens reacted passionately as Antony highlighted Caesar's achievements repeatedly throughout. Anger surged against those responsible for the assassination increasingly everywhere. Crowds demanded answers, justice, and accountability from the conspirators immediately. The atmosphere became volatile, unpredictable, and increasingly dangerous by hours. Rome edged closer toward unrest rather than stability once again. Brutus and his allies watched events slipping beyond their control. The outcome they anticipated seemed less realistic with every passing moment. Their actions had removed Caesar but failed solving deeper problems entirely. Political divisions remained while new conflicts emerged from the vacuum. Soon the conspirators faced a reality they never expected beforehand. Caesar was dead, but Caesarism itself remained very much alive. The conspirators believed Caesar's death would restore balance to Roman politics. They expected institutions to recover once overwhelming personal power disappeared. Instead, Rome entered an even darker period of instability immediately. Removing Caesar solved nothing because deeper divisions still remained unresolved. Ambition, rivalry, and distrust continued poisoning political relationships across Rome. The Republic stood wounded, vulnerable, and increasingly unable healing itself. Meanwhile, new leaders emerged eager to inherit Caesar's influence entirely. Mark Antony positioned himself as defender of Caesar's legacy publicly. Another figure appeared quietly, young yet surprisingly dangerous politically. His name was Octavian, Caesar's adopted heir and successor legally. Together they transformed grief into momentum and momentum into power. The assassins suddenly found themselves hunted rather than celebrated widely. Civil war returned, proving violence often creates more violence afterward. Roman armies once again marched against fellow Romans across battlefields. The Republic bled from wounds deepened by repeated internal conflict. Eventually, Brutus faced defeat at the Battle of Philippi decisively. His dream of preserving the Republic collapsed before his eyes. The victory belonged to forces claiming Caesar's memory and legacy. Here lies the cruel irony hidden within the assassination itself. The conspirators killed Caesar to stop one-man rule permanently forever. Yet their actions accelerated the exact outcome they feared most. Every stab intended saving the Republic pushed it closer toward destruction. Caesar died beneath Senate blades, but his political shadow survived. And that shadow was about to become something much larger. After years of conflict, Octavian emerged as Rome's dominant leader ultimately. The young heir succeeded where many others had failed previously. Power consolidated steadily until meaningful opposition became nearly impossible entirely. Eventually, Octavian became Augustus, Rome's first emperor officially recognized. The Republic survived in name, but its essence changed forever. Ironically, Caesar's death accelerated the birth of imperial rule dramatically. The conspirators achieved their immediate goal, but lost the larger struggle. They removed one man while strengthening the forces behind him. History often delivers outcomes nobody intended despite sincere motivations involved. That reality makes the story of Caesar profoundly tragic today. Brutus may have believed he acted for Rome's future genuinely. Yet, good intentions cannot guarantee good consequences in practice, unfortunately. Caesar's assassination remains famous because it feels deeply human still. It involves loyalty, fear, ambition, friendship, and impossible choices simultaneously. These themes transcend centuries because human nature changes very little. Every generation faces conflicts between principles and personal relationships eventually. Every society struggles balancing stability, freedom, and effective leadership carefully. The questions haunting ancient Rome continue echoing through modern history. Perhaps that explains why Caesar's final moments remain unforgettable worldwide. Not because of politics alone, but because of betrayal itself. Trust takes years building, yet only moments destroying completely forever. A blade wounds the body, but betrayal wounds something deeper. And some wounds continue shaping history long after death arrives. Caesar fell in Rome, but his legacy never truly disappeared.